Hello. Welcome to Love Talks. I thought after I said this that, I don't know if I'll be saying that every time because it's just love, or I try to bring God's love to earth. I try to share whatever I found and learned, and it was supposed to be welcome to him, but this is just the name of this, I guess. So if I don't say it, it's because that was not the ultimate destination. The love talk, I guess I want to say company. I'm not a company, but like, or you see these channels on YouTube or these companies with names. That wasn't the ultimate destination, but I feel more challenged than in the past. I don't know if to throw that in here or not, but I don't know. If there's anything, if it's becoming harder for me to capture, then I was thinking that I'd rather be silent than put out insubstantial things. So if you don't hear things from me in this time, that might be one of the reasons. Or that will be. And well, another thing I thought, which is unrelated, but I thought, and I haven't said anything because I didn't think I might. I don't know. It was just a thought at the time, but I was thinking, because if I ever come across text, and some of these texts, it's like they grow with us, more like the other way around. We see the deeper depths to them, the more we evolve. So it's like sometimes it changes the way you would read it. So sometimes I found these nice passages, and I was thinking, what if I'd like to read one out to you, and then if I read it, it would be because one of the things, because the person I learned from, she said that at one point they were trying to make like an audio, I guess you could say, book, or like an audio recording of that, to make that available to people. And I don't know if that ever happened, but I'm thinking now maybe it hasn't happened. Maybe that it's like a distant, it's like so distant a memory that I'm like, is it a memory, or am I just making this up now? But I think it may have been that she actually already told us that because you couldn't read the things the same way every time, maybe that's why it fell through. Or do I just not know the latest update? I'm not sure, but I guess I would have really liked it because I wanted to hear it, how it was said to her. But I guess that didn't happen. But like these other people from called Universal Spirit, distinguished translation, or Universelles Leben, and they, or the lady there, Gabriele Wittek, they do definitely, I've heard speech, like things being spoken to you. They definitely do something like audio things. I don't know, audio book is not the right word, but it's not always the same. Like it might sound quite relaxing, almost like, I don't know if they have like things for kind of meditative prayers, but they also have like just things. What audio thing? I have this app now where she has these things where they give you like one thought of the day kind of for you to kind of brighten your day, pretty much. Very deep things you can like ponder upon, or just let it inspire your day. And anyway, like that's simply spoken to you, so it's like she must know how she's saying it, or because the language changes, though who knows how it has changed since, even for her. But I guess I was gonna tell you, because the person I learned from, she said they tried to hire actors first for that, and then they would have like a funny way of saying it. And I'm thinking this, I was thought earlier in the journey, even the same about the church, like they say it so, and I tried to find words because in my mind I was going to tell you that at the time, and then I didn't get to it. But it was like I didn't have a word for that, and I said kind of theorized maybe, or sterile, or like I didn't want to, and I was trying to like find a good word because I didn't want to just call it like strange, or I didn't want to just use a word that might be interpreted as unkind, and I didn't have a word. I found out I didn't have a word for how they say it, but I say it in such a language that, and in such a tone that's, and almost takes away from the meaning, but there was like a whole world beyond that, and I don't know if God lets me or what, because I feel like if there's always new things in a day, then I guess at a time I thought I'd rather do what's here now than at least I get to do that thing. I mean, some of the things came back up where people actually asked me questions. I'm like, I realized that, oh, this is really needed still, and then I can put it in like a new, I guess, format, or I can put it in a new shape that it will be said the way it will be said now and this time. But if I ever do feel stumped for words, stumped for like what to put out, then I can go back to they were so beautiful. I really wanted to have brought them to you in the beautiful way that I received them or found out about these things. It was so beautiful. I wanted to pass it on. Maybe I try to control things too high, like too much, because I wanted it to be as much as possible. Like I wanted to really capture it as beautifully as I found it, and then I had to find that the moment was already past. Then I couldn't really do that. I couldn't really capture it the same way. So beautiful. So I don't know if my mind is a bit stuck on how I see them in my mind. I know they're just like thoughts, but like the memory, like it's so beautiful. Like I want it to be the same way, and maybe I can't do that. But maybe I can't do that. But one of those things, because I know I could keep talking forever now if I get into that. Some days you want to explain one thing, it leads to the next, and to the next. But one of the thoughts I had early on in this journey was this, when I began to understand, and it was like when I read that quote, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And I was like, and I got that. And I was no one who, to read the Bible much, and I stumbled upon this quote, and I'm like, in a bookstore, in a Christian store, and I'm like, oh my gosh, so beautiful, and I'm like, I got it, because I wanted to tell you that it is the implication, but, I can go into deeper depths in that, but I realized, like, I remembered, like, reading it, and when it says, I shall not want, it's like, I shall not want, because it's like, I shall not, what can you want for if God's your shepherd? But if he provides and gives you everything you need it, then, like, what is there to be wanted for? And I remembered because I heard that I heard that in a church, because I rarely ever went to church, but at the time when I did went, I think they said it like, I shall not want, like you're doing like it's about ego and you're bad, or just like the tone. I can't even implicate implicate. Great. What does that mean? Implicate. I don't know that word. Imitate. Implicate. What does that implicate? Implication? Imply? I will look that word up and see if that's a word. It's like implement, imply, implication. Right. And sometimes you say things and you find you said something before you knew it. Like, is love still coming through? Even though I feel like I don't know if I'm putting it through enough. But you remember that I said world, and then in the last one, which is like ages long podcast, but I said world and I didn't know, and it told me what I wanted to say before I even knew what it was. Because later I'm like, oh yeah, I realized, like, yeah, what is this thing about the world becoming something. It's implicate, but I don't know what that word even means. I'll look that up later. It's like so much. I hope I'll get to like maybe talk about it in the description, because while writing that in that moment, there could be something new that I could be learning. Like, you never know. Like, if ever anything I don't get till then, maybe it could inspire you guys, like the realization, know that it's there, you know, even if I didn't say it. And but anyway, like, remember this tone, and it was like, or it was just kind of red, and it was like kept so, I don't know what to call that. Excuse me. Oh no. People are gonna scared of coronavirus. It says natural. It's because the weather. It was really hot the other days, and now suddenly it's like, yesterday was so cold. Also, I sneeze when it's like, I have a lot of things in me, and if I don't get to them, then I just like, they just like unload themselves in a sneeze. I don't know if that said something to somebody, but and so where was I? Well, I tried to tell you the tone, but I can't even imitate. Like, I can't even make the tone the way it was. Implicate? Okay, that does it need to be a word? I'm implicating. I don't know. Also, when they read the prayers, and it's like, of the Lord, amen. And it was just like, you didn't really feel what you were hearing, because you were only like, it was like, some days, I don't know. Well, one of the things was when the I shall not want, the way he said it made it sound as if he was telling us we were bad because there was ego, and be like ego ridden or something. I wonder, should I walk a bit? It's kind of nice to sit down sometimes. In the I heard a thing. I only briefly mentioned to you, but these people, Jakob Lorbeer and this other person, oh no, Edna something, I think, maybe something like that. This lady, and her words like instantly just felt like I'd heard them before, like as if they came from Gabriele, and I was like, I know this. It seems so familiar because the language is the same, and the person I learned from, and also, and it's like it sounded like I heard it all before, and then not the meaning, because it's so deep sometimes I haven't even gotten to it, but the words were like, how could there be another person's name under it? I'm like, so it's also an indicator for me that it came from Christ, because most probably, for all I know now, because it sounded like it. It sounded like the same way that people speak who I already heard, where I do know, because of, it's like purity speaks for itself, and like it's unmistakable. You can't really, if I didn't want to believe it, I was probably still have to at the end. So, and somebody else, because it just happened to stumble across it on YouTube show. It's like, God must have led me to it, because I didn't know I needed it. Like, I'd asked it, and then, anyway, what I'm getting to is the other, and also this other person, called Nadia Khalil, she also said that, Christ told her that there will be a new language, and I feel like, because at first I'm like, I thought we don't need language, there's no language in heaven anyway, why do we need a new language? But it's like a deeper, I'm beginning to kind of, it makes me think that language, maybe that's kind of a language that's like unrecognizable, where like, and like you grow with it, and then you're like, maybe I didn't understand it at first, but then later I'm like, oh right, so another thing, so that's why I want to like tell you that if I ever read something to you, that it will be, you know, me reading it how I know it to mean, what I know it to mean today, how I know it today, how I know to speak it in this time. And then I don't know if, but that's the most I can do, isn't it? If I the most I can, what I know I can, that's how I can read it. Hi. Doing have my day. Thanks. So, well, so happy. I saw something about lions, but I don't want to get into the newest subject. And also, I don't know if it was important or I missed that, but dogs are, well, I did mention it, but like I didn't mention, and when I saw all these dogs, I'm like, why am I noticing all these dogs? Why there's so many dogs in it? Turns out that actually, well, the first thought was, well, they're, you know, called the, or we told, no, not told, the most loyal friend of the human. And that was when I was beginning. Is there something about loyalty? I don't know if I missed that, because that was before Noah's Ark. Also, I noticed I probably spell it wrong in English, because, yeah, I don't know, because I used to know it in German. And I think before, when I knew the word arch and knew the word ark, I guess I thought I didn't know back in the day that they're different words or something. So, but it was implicated, whatever that means. It was implied that this is you know, thingy. What that means, you guys will know. I remember wondering for ages, what does an arch have to do with the ark? But I didn't know you pronounce it differently. I didn't know that. It's like, why are they using the same word in English? I was like, and then I thought, is it because of the way the ship was built that there was like an arch? Or I kept thinking it because I didn't know yet. And that's how you learn about me. I guess I thought they made the arch back to God or something, like the round. I don't know. I just made it make sense in my mind. But, ow! Sorry. Right, I was thinking maybe walk a little bit. I mean, it's nice to sit here, but actually, this scratched me. No, I needed that. And I wasn't in focus here. I needed that. Because, right, sometimes like there's so many beautiful things. I just want to like keep speaking. But, so, back to that person, when I stumbled upon that text, where it was like an instant like, why, like I thought it was from Gabriele because I didn't know there was another person out there. Even though my teacher told us early there's other people doing this, but I'm like, oh, where are they? And I wanted to see more, so God led me to it. But that, so now God has opened my eyes to that. And this person, I don't know if there's more in it that to relate to you, because I didn't know, but there was another channel, so I went, so it's like, I have to find out more about this person, so I typed it in, and then I ended up in another channel, and that person was reading it more like probably, because when our teacher said it was, and also, you know, oh, never mind, so it's like, more like probably like how an actress would say it, because she said it in a tone as if it was like in a way where you could only listen to the tone and not even capture the words, because it was kind of like just all I could do is like hear the tone, and it sounded melodic and beautiful and soft, great, but it's like after I heard it, I'm like, I missed the words because you're telling me it as if it's not about the words. And one of the things I wanted to do is, you know, simply read the words. However, I wanted you to know, if I ever do read something out, I will be reading it. I will be simply saying, but I will be reading it to the best of my understanding of the words at the time. Because it's like, it's not like the first words are wrong, but then you go to deeper depth and you learn more. So the next time you might hear something different. There's a sentence that is most of souls, and I was like, and I didn't know what it meant. So the first time I read it, I heard it as it mostly related to the soul, and the second time I read it as like it's most of the souls on this planet. But then I still a deeper depth. There are sentences that today I understand them better, and there's things that I don't. But I simply need you to know that if I ever do read something to you, or I could show you the text and then you guys can read it. But it's like in videos I felt like it might be nice to read it if there's something I stumble across and then it really relates to what we were learning. I hope that makes sense. And also maybe that's how maybe in that audiobook that the actors would have read it that way. And I was like, I didn't even understand at first when I was told that they read it in some sort of, well, I don't want to call it strange, but like a way where you're trying to like read it in one way or another. And one of the things I would have told you earlier in the journey is it really is simply information for us, like in the Bible, the Quran, and you may have misunderstood a lot of things along the way, but it's information. So if we try to read it in a certain way, or it's like, how do we not take away from what we are needing to learn in that time then? But then I began, because at first I didn't even understand what does it mean. Read it in a different way that wasn't even there. But then like I heard this one where this actress was doing this melodic thing, and I'm like, oh, maybe that's how that was, because you know, maybe actors or people, or we think that God is something. Well, he is really erhaben. I don't know the word for that in English, but we'll try to make it sound like, oh, highly exalted. Is that the word for erhaben? I'm not sure if that's it, but I know he's like high. But it doesn't mean that because if these words are meant for us to, you know, utilize in our everyday lives, then we need to understand what they mean. So I guess what I meant has been said, because I won't be reading it like that. I won't be trying to read it like anything. I will read it how I understand it. But then if it is a case of where, even for me to grow, where I still need to grow, where there's still more room to grow to the understanding of the sentence, and I haven't evolved to it yet, I can't read it that way yet, right? Because I wouldn't know what that is. So I will be reading it to you, and simply for your knowing that, or your awareness of this, that there might be more to it, more in it, than I know if you ever hear me read something, than I knew at the time of me reading it. And then, so that's what I'm thinking, maybe I should show the text. And then people can also, like, you guys could like have read it and then like get back to it, and then when you get to it, like, you can like remember it, or maybe you can then get there on your own, even if I'm not reading it, or like at least it's there, the written word to be seen. But I don't understand if that fell through the audio thing, because we say the text changes, like, because it seems changed to us sometimes. But and I was also changed, right? And we didn't know it was in there yet, but almost like a living. So I wanted to say a language is alive, because almost like alive, because it's like more this to you, kind of. If that makes sense. But I think that may sound misleading but when you experience it, then you know, like, oh, that is what that means. Like, you've evolved to the understanding of the meaning of the song. You're like, now you can read it in that statement because now you can see it's there. Because now it's in you, kind of like, you've evolved to it, if that makes sense. I feel like, at least for me, like, I need the understanding of the meaning, then I can see that in the sentence too. Because if I don't know something exists, and there's a word for it, how can I know that that's what it means? I don't want to over-interpret it either. I don't want to, like, sometimes I feel like I speak too much then I don't want it to take away from the meaning about what I was saying to you, but I don't know. That sentence slipped my mind. I just had it. I was gonna finish one last thing. And love is so far ahead that it looks like it is behind. One of the things that this person, Maria Khalil, always says, it's like, I never forgot that statement, and I didn't understand it at the time at first. It's like, how can somebody look behind that's ahead of you? But I get it now. But like with the language, like, it's so far ahead that there could be things in it, like later when you need that. Then I was like, how did that even know? Don't put your leg on me, please don't. Sorry?
She'll weave.
Oh.
She likes to mark people, so she'll weave not on them, near them.
Oh, really?
So, you're mine.
Well, I'll move. She won't find me later. Oh dear. Like, I don't mind dogs, and I like when they come to you. Just don't like. You don't expect them to, and then they're just like in your food with whatever. I don't know. So yeah, they're so cute. But at least I had company. I'd like them to come here. Anyways, I don't know if you saw what was going on because I don't know what I was filming at the time, but that big doggy came here, so just like like I said, like I don't want to just film things, and I don't know. I mean, I kind of do want to. I just don't know. Rather than getting myself in trouble, I just like spared myself that. Anyway, yeah. So it's like love knew us already so well before we knew ourselves that much. There was one thing I wanted to say. Oh, I won't be reading it. Well, yeah, I won't be reading it. One thing I know I won't do is like read it like kind of the way I heard it in the church, or actors say it in that strange way. It's like I remember, like I couldn't even pay attention to what was being said to me because of the way it was said to me. So like the tone is not the most important thing in the language, right? So I guess I'll wrap this up. Why do I feel like there's one thing that was left unsaid, but I can't remember it now. That before I overtalk things. I might be reading like that. So yeah. And the bird song is so beautiful nowadays, isn't it? I notice it more. I do think it may be because of lockdown and nature having gotten time to regenerate itself. Well, you wouldn't have seen it how it looked before, but I mean, in this part, they call the woods, it's not really so much stronger, but some places. Oh, I think I showed you one over there where there was the white flowers. It was like so full. Right. I will read it to you simply. I will simply read it to you and simply, say the words as I know them. But I wanted to know if there's anything more in them, that if it's a depth to which I haven't delved, then I will have the capacity to read them to you the way that I know them. Alright, well, thank you for your attention. Thank you for taking note. And I hope you like this video. And I'll see you in the next time. In the next one. And why am I feeling like there was one thing that I still wanted to say? Well, I said 30 minutes. Should I get into the lion? The dog, the way it was like behaving in that moment reminded me of some things I've seen. But not really sure, like, what can I tell you if I don't know it? I think I started a new video, and this is 30 minutes, nice time. So I will talk to you in the next one, but if I do read out anything, then you will. This is for you knowing that. Okay. And yeah, if you like this video, then you know the drill. You're welcome to let me know if you're liking it and all these things. The comment section is there for the talking and the speaking and the discussing and the interactions and in a kind of way, because that's what we all have to see. Hey birdie, is there something in magpies? Because I kept noticing them too for a while. And all I remember is that they're drawn to shiny things, like we're drawn to love. And I don't remember if there's anything else that I missed, then you'll know it through this then. But there's something like, sometimes you feel it, there's a deeper depth to it, but then if I don't capture it, what am I going to tell you? And there are a lot of things I want to tell you. I'll start a new video before I start ranting, but you're welcome to watch that. Oh, these are in pairs again, that's so cute. I mean, it is spring, but it's like they always took two on the arch, a pair of each. And I don't know what else they're trying to tell me. I know we belong together. I know we belong to each other. We would not be anyone without anyone else. If there was not someone, then we are no one, because not in like you're someone, but like it's like we need it. It's like we're nothing without each other. Even through evolvement. Well, we were created for each other. We were created as a whole creation, not like just one soul. But I don't want to say anything before I know what it is. And there are all these little bits that I want to talk about, so maybe it will be worth to start a new video. And I'll see you in the next one. I think one person talking about comment section was delete their comment, I'm not sure. And I just wanted to say, I didn't know why, but if it is, sometimes people delete things when they're embarrassed. And I wanted to say that I never have the intention to embarrass anyone. So it's not about that, it's for our learning, all our learning, so. And a lot of times I needed something, even if I didn't like it at the time, to teach me something, and I learned from it. So this is another thing I would have told you a long time ago, but I don't know if it's really deleted or didn't show up in that, because there was another place from where I saw it. I didn't know that there is a place. All I ever checked was where my notifications are shown, but I didn't know there are like statistics in like YouTube Studio. So anyway. But if they did delete it for that reason, I wanted them to know this. And all of you. So, I'll see you in the next one. I would love to see you back. That would be an honor, and it would be great to see you back. And I hope you like this. You're welcome to return to the next one. Bye. Take care till the next one. See you. Bye.